Hello, hello, and hello. Welcome to another episode of Startup Rant. Today we're going to talk about farms. Yeah. Now, you know, Croatia, like many countries on Mediterranean, are always like regarded that tourism, sea, and stuff like that. But actually, Croatia's has like um, beautiful stuff here, from mountains to fields, and on those fields we have farms, little farms, villages. We have it all, and when you look at it, the whole world is, well, running on farms. You don't think about it, but food comes from somewhere, and usually that food comes from farms. And you know, if you are a little guy with, I don't know, a little land, or you are a big guy, a big corporation, you still have to manage all that. It's not just like, oh, here's a farm, we're just gonna put some seed in the ground and it's just gonna grow up, spur up, and we will have plants. uh, it's not like that. You need to work on it, of course, like everything in life. Now, I'm talking about the farms, but actual startup, and now big company that's working all over the world, is Agrivi. Matija Zulj, CEO of this company, actually comes from the ICT world. So they created, in Agrivi, they created this kind of a software, farm management software. And people are using this, companies are using this all over the world because it helps them to run a farm. So when you think about the startup, this is something that maybe will not be like, oh, I'm gonna create a farm management software. I'm gonna get the VCs to invest in this. Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool. Nah, probably it's not something that you think at first to do, but they did. Actually, he started it all. Now he has a cool company with all kind of people working for him. And well, you know what? Let's just listen to this episode. Listen to this talk. Enjoy. And please follow, subscribe, follow all of our social networks, channels, and whatnot. StartUp. Hello to New Normal, and we are recording. Well, it says it's recording, and you all, whoever is listening to this, they know that I always do this. I say hello because I take time to check, am I actually recording? And we have Matija here, which is from some little company from Croatia called Agrivi, which from, I don't know, some reason is a booming company in all around the world. Matija, hi.
Hi, Miroslav. Hello, everybody.
How are you, Matija?
Great. I think it's a great sunny day, so it's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday when we are recording this. I don't know when we're going to actually put this online, because you just put me ashamed, because in the intro you said you already did a climb on local mountain.
Yeah, so I'm trying to
Live healthy.
As much as I can. I cannot claim that I live completely healthy, because 16 hours a day, a work day, is not that healthy. But let's at least balance it a bit with some stress reliefs like climbing or hiking.
Hiking,
Running.
yeah, because when I say a local mountain, that's just to boost a little bit of local people, because we know it's actually a hill. Just joking. And I'm joking because I'm actually from Slavonia, and Slavonia is full of flat.
It's flat.
It's flat.
You don't know what's hill.
Yeah, whenever I see something bigger than a mount, it's a mountain. And your company, it's actually doing something in agriculture, which is like, when I heard, and I heard a few years ago, and as I'm coming from Slavonia, it's like, what? Somebody's doing a startup about agriculture, about land, about wheat, corn. You know, and you're actually doing a kind of a software or something. You're not digging the land, of course. You're doing something there, and I don't know. Can you explain a little bit how that idea came about?
Yeah, I can definitely. So I come from IT, so I have masters in computer science, some other business degrees as well, and I was working in IT industry for around 10 years before starting Agrivi. And my previous position was I was managing a mobile advertising company, and uh, it was great business. It was a great job and everything. And at, after 3 years, I realized that all this great business. I mean, I developed myself professionally, achieved great career, and it was everything was growing great. But I just felt something is missing. Something is missing for me, and there were two things. On one side, I realized I always wanted to do some kind of impact to help people, and I realized that what I was building with mobile advertising was actually annoying people, because I'm sure that when you are surfing on this in the morning, when you get that full screen banner and you need to find X and you miss it, you hate everybody. And
Yep, 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 yep.
yeah, so that was one of aha moments where I realized, okay, yeah, that's great business, but actually I would like to inspire somebody. I would like to really help somebody. And although you enable communications with that, you enable transferring messages with that, I simply didn't feel completely inspired, and I wanted to I really took time, and took time to think where I was 30 at that moment, and I wanted to see where I want to dedicate my next 2 decades of my life. Basically, what will be the most professional decades, the most productive decades. And I really looked at all companies around Croatia, what they do. Do I like something that they do? Where could I join additionally? And simply, uh, I didn't see too many companies that were solving something globally. Everybody was focusing on something regionally, something like that. And I wanted to do something globally. And then I took Sustainable Development Goals, and by United Nations, that are the key global problems. And I started to study them completely to see, okay, is something or what I see there inspiring me? And as I really love food, I'm hedonist. Food and wine, yeah, that's
Yep, yep.
yeah, or
Me too, me too.
burgers and beer and yeah, food. I love it. So in the end, you realize that you actually we live in times where we don't know. We live in abundance in Western world, and we don't know what's actually happening globally, and how fragile the entire food system is, and how broken it is. And it inspired me. That's completely the challenge of what's happening inspired me. Then I said, okay, I'd like to do something there. And at that point of time, I said to myself, but I don't know anything about agriculture. So yeah, my grandparents lived on, yeah, in little places, and had some egg activities, but I didn't know anything about it. So I started my own farm. So I bought land, so from scratch. I said I want to become a farmer to see how it is to produce food. So I
Oh,
really bought land,
oh,
spent 3 months looking for land to find a big enough parcel, basically, and I planted blueberries. So basically, I'm a farmer as well. So
nice.
often I wear that farming hat and drive a tractor and things like that. So this is and as soon as I started, you can immediately see what are the problems, because if you worked in other industries where everything is set and you come to agriculture where nothing is set and where people make decisions completely from head based on a gut feeling without, yeah, because they are doing that for years like that, and not nothing much more specific, you see that it's not the way how business is done, and that's why it's broken completely. It's not sustainable in any possible way, and it's not the way how we can build our future and leave the world in as a better place. Simply not. And what is yeah, from that moment, I tried to make my farm quite high-tech farm. So invested in all equipment, irrigation systems, tried to use a lot of different apps to manage a farm. And I wasn't happy with apps that I saw, because everything was, either it was too simple where you cannot justify why not to use spreadsheet, or it was some old school, very complex application that is so ugly that you don't want to use it, and you need to download it. It's not cloud, it's not on mobile, it's not there. So something like that. So from that moment, basically the idea about creating central platform for farms where they can manage all the processes, get knowledge, get insights, and make better decisions to produce healthy, nutritious, safe food in a sustainable manner. Yeah, that's how it started, basically.
And that's kind of like interesting thing. I just like this new normal because I can actually kind of cheat a little bit, because I can actually Google stuff.
Okay,
So
I'm curious now.
yeah, because I wanted to make a statement here, because people usually think that whatever they are doing in the farmland, whatever they're doing with the farm is like one-way street, or they're like doing the wheat or corn or whatnot. And you said you did blueberry, like and they don't understand that if they're doing that, they can actually explore a little bit more about that, like a blackberry or something like that, and make connections to other problems or other kind of things in like, I don't know, wine industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody when sees blueberry or blackberry or whatnot, they just see it like as a fruit, and they don't see what can they produce with that. And it's interesting what you said right now, because you said there is no kind of a system that can actually not just tell you what you're doing and how to do it well, but actually to expand a little bit. My wife actually, she has her diploma in wines from the blackberry.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so I'm always curious about that. Like, who, like, when you say wine, it's already grapes. When. And what
Mm-hmm.
you did like this kind of software that can they do something. And what I'm getting at, because I'm ranting a little bit, is a startup. When somebody hears startup, it's like, oh, it's a software company, it's a Facebook, it's this, is Silicon Valley, I don't know whatnot. But you are in the agriculture. And people maybe right now listening to this, or maybe people that not listening to this, just sitting at home on their little farm doing blackberry, blueberry, or even wheat, or I see potato behind you. And we know what comes from the potato. It's not just French fries. There's some kind of spirit comes from it as well.
Yeah.
So there's kind of businesses that can grow from the land.
Mm-hmm.
So, but also that's just like a business. But there is also this problem that you mentioned. Is a kind of a problem with the food, problem with the little countries, small countries, big countries, big continents also with the global food problem. And I think that you are part of solution, because what you said right now, what I read about you, about the company, what's your stand on that? Man,
Yeah.
I'm ranting, I know, but that's start rant.
No, it's
Because
so
it's important a
the,
subject.
the,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, when you take a look at that global perspective, and today we live better than everybody lived before. So the world is every day better place. On the other side, the population is growing quite strongly, and whatever, for example, when you take a look at the last decade, whatever good was done in improving the food security in developing markets, for example, it was completely undone. So it was undo of that with COVID, because COVID, when borders stopped, so many people died because they didn't have they couldn't get food. There was no transport. There was not humanitarian things there. And I think that as a global population, it's our responsibility really to educate everybody, to provide them ability to simply grow food and be sustainable there. Because I don't believe in help as such. I mean, you need to give somebody a tool and learn how to use it, and not to donate. Donation is, yeah, it's nice, but it should be one time. It shouldn't be a business case, business model, or things like that. And when you take a look at everything that's going there, so statistics is very clear. In 2050, there will be over 9 billion people living on the planet. If we want to feed the population per area, per surface, so on one field, one table, whatever area you want to put, you need to produce 60% more volume to have sufficient volume to feed the entire population. And that's crazy. I mean, because when you take a look at agriculture, with today's concept, we can speak about novel concepts of food production, but with agriculture as it's done today, you have one season per year. So it's only 30 years, it's only 30 growing seasons. So scientifically looked at that, it's only 30 tries. So to improve something and to get 60% more. So it's very hard. It's hard, and something needs to be changed more dramatically. Not, I mean, we cannot speak about that. Things need to be done continuously, currently very deeply transformed completely if we want to have sustainability. And then COVID came. And then in developed markets where everything is great, suddenly last March, everybody went to supermarkets, almost killed each other there to get the last can from the shelf. Yeah. And we also, oh my God, the system is so broken currently because the entire globalization aspect, because we are a global, everything is global now, where you want to have economy of scale, unit economics, efficiency, everything there. So actually, yeah, now we don't have sustainability in countries. You don't produce enough food there because almost none country is self-sustainable at the moment in food production. Everybody's good at something, but not in key things altogether. So local food sustainability and food sufficiency became a problem. Just a second. Became a problem for all countries, and I think that we as consumers started to understand and value the food more in the last year and something. Although the awareness about healthy food, that's something that's rising continuously, but in the last year we can see it globally on the market that it's getting the pace, higher pace, and that's great. Actually, that's great because if we as consumers start to demand healthier food, locally grown food, transparent, traceable food that we know what we eat because we are what we eat in the end, then it transfers because the power is in consumers. As long as consumers are whatever, nothing will happen. When consumers start to ask, then everything rolls down and everything changes.
And what you said right now, this is like really interesting, because you know when you think about all the business schools and whatnot, people will always tell you like just check the sustainability of your idea, check the sustainability of your margins, against the profit, against the TAM, SAM, SOM, whatnot. You will have all that, but then a pandemic hits or whatnot, and then you realize that, oh, that is great. The huge companies can earn so much money or lose so much money, but people will starve. People will starve because TAM, SAM, SOM, or margins or your or sustainability is not based on the land that you're growing food on, it's based on the numbers that you have about software or some kind of companies, or even something vaguely, especially right now we saw that in tourism. But let's backtrack a little bit, because when you started this all, you still had to, especially then, now you have a problem with the food, so maybe it's kind of a weird way that you can actually maybe even pitch better now the problem and solutions. But when you started to pitch something like a software or a company that's building its business around agriculture, how hard was it?
Extremely. On one side, everybody loves food. Everybody understands that we all need to eat every day, and that digitizing food and agriculture is the future altogether, is the present and future, and that's great on one side. But as soon as you start basically to get to some serious discussions, majority of investors, especially because usually they are from cities, they don't know anything about agriculture, and when they start to understand, okay, what are you solving, and then they cannot simply grasp it. They cannot understand it well, and then it's hard. Then your area, a number of investors, currently from 100% of them comes to 10% of them, literally. So it's not
Yeah,
I think that the awareness simply about the necessity is it's rising on the, but it still needs to rise a lot. I mean, when you take a look at, and this has nothing to do with Croatia, being a company from Croatia. In Europe, Europe is completely different story versus US states, where our competitors that were in states raised 20 times more money with less revenue, less results. So it's simply about the investment mindset in Europe.
Okay, so when you started, was it like but you had to start somehow, so you started probably
Yeah, I financed first year by myself.
Okay. Yeah, well,
still,
bootstrapping, that's what I and my co-founders did
and
as
then,
well. So
then
locally, or you went globally again? I know people can read lots about you, but it's interesting to have you right now on the call here. And what kind of a decision was like, I'm gonna just put my money where my mouth is, and literally mouth is, because it's feeding the.
No, it was so. I did the market research, really to understand what can I do, or what is the market, and when you're building business, trying to do something globally from Croatia, or if you want to start a new industry, because this is completely new industry, you cannot live from Croatian market. We are too small. We are one city in a majority countries, so by population, so it's simply too small market, and I was aware of that. So immediately we started to build the company for the global market, and to try to get those early adopters from everywhere. And this is how it started, and we utilized online acquisition for that very well, and it worked nicely, and it enabled us to build a system that was not focused on specific Croatian grower, but really we got different requirements, everything there needs from farmers that grow different crops, that grow in different regions, in different conditions, and it actually made us to build what we have today, and that is one of the most comprehensive farm management platforms globally. If we would have chosen other path, it wouldn't be that. Simply, we wouldn't build that. So I think that we had luck that we chose the path to start immediately globally.
Okay, so in that regard, do you have kind of advice for the startups right now in Croatia? It doesn't matter, are they the agriculture startup or something else? Do you have any advice how to approach the global scale of startup VCs that can invest money for a little startup from a little country? what's little, what's big, that's up to discussion. But we had like in the headlines right now in the last year that many startups from Croatia like grow big, and people think like, wow, that's amazing, but that work didn't come overnight. It come over
Yeah, it was at least 10 years. Nobody
yeah.
sold before 10 years.
Yeah,
Nobody.
and even now, some startups here in Croatia, even yourself, maybe you felt that like, who are they? Like you're 10 years or something, like you are like 70
7
some,
years, yeah,
yeah,
we're 10
seven
years.
something years. Now, and people will like say, whoa, we have a company that's providing something to worldwide agriculture like
Hmm.
system. It's from Croatia, and they have like employees and offices around the world. How crazy is that? But when they
Hmm.
hear the sound of, oh, they got this kind of investment like that, they think it's happened overnight. So do you have any advice for like these little startups that right now are trying to get
Hmm.
out? Like, what would be that be like? Try, not try, do this, do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is no recipe, definitely, because I'm often mentor on some hubs, accelerators, and things like that. And it's really different for every business, whether you are a consumer business, whether you're a B2B business. When we switched from B2C model to B2B model. And it changed completely the approach, because in B2C model, you are approaching differently. You can utilize more online acquisition. In B2B, especially enterprise B2B. So we are currently more enterprise B2B company. Uh, we There is a lot of direct sales involved, and uh, um, you need to visit clients. I mean, you cannot do it completely virtually, because winning big projects requires building a relationship and getting trust. So that is something that changed our strategies completely when we changed the business model. And it's hard to say how to approach. Yeah, what I would definitely recommend is it always helps if you have traction, because people think that getting nice pitch and doing really things, they focus too much on investment and less on adding value to customers. And I think that adding value to customers is critical. If you don't add value, yeah, you do nothing in the end. And when investors see that you add value, then they have trust to invest, and that's one. The other thing that we learned, and it again doesn't have anything to do with our country. It's again, everybody think that investors will invest in you from completely different part of the world. And in the end, again, it's about people. Everything in life is about people, and they like to see you. I mean, they like to visit you. They like to do things. And before pandemics, nobody wanted to invest usually into a company if they didn't see you. And that's something where you have a lot of companies that went on US tours and couldn't get both from UK, because we have great network of friends that have startup companies in UK, as our official headquarters is in UK basically, and we went through programs there, and they couldn't get funding so easily from US unless they had business sessions there as well. So you need to be present. You need to be present there. So I would say that try to raise money where you are, where you have business. It's the easiest way. So where you have actual customers, because if you have actual customers in some country, some region, investors from there will be more keen to invest than if it's completely random somewhere.
And just like you said, you have like this kind of a presence that you started from here. You're right now, you said yourself, a mentor to some companies. Do you see rise in the kind of companies in the agriculture? Because in the last year there were like 7 or 8 companies in the agriculture that was mentioned in all kind of a venues from startup VCs. Agriculture is rising from USA, from Africa, from, I'm just trying to remember
Mhm.
India even, because it's a huge country, of course. And do you see some kind of rise in these little countries, quote unquote, right now, that maybe even approach you, as you are maybe a fourth runner from this country that is paving the way how to actually do business? Is it a software company, or is it a literal I'm gonna take a shovel and dig through the land
Mhm.
company, and I'm gonna grow some kind of potatoes, blueberry, blackberry, or whatnot? Do you see rise in that
Yeah.
area right now?
Yeah, yeah. People have ideas, and they often come to us to validate ideas, to see what we think, can we support them anyhow. And our doors are always open, because I'm still today asking people for support, for help, for to validate my ideas that we have today around the globe. And coming to somebody knocking on doors is completely okay, and that's great, because if you don't do that, that's not okay. So you need to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Don't kick
that's
the door,
positive.
just knock on it. Don't kick the door, just
Yeah.
knock on it.
People want to help other people.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what
In not, yeah.
I wanted to
In
just to say
nutshell,
that, like,
people are good,
yeah,
and they want to help. They want to support. And I usually, so often they think that it will be expensive to go there. What? So most people give advice for free. I mean, so you know, so we always try to support, especially here, local startups that want to do something in agriculture and food, because everybody as everybody perceives that yeah, it's agriculture. It's so big industry. It's the largest global industry. You can have probably 20 startups that will do completely different thing just in Zagreb for agritech, and will not be competitors that they can collaborate together. So that's it's so big industry about food and agriculture, that there needs to be more people that want to come and join.
and that's what I wanted to say with that interconnection is with I mentioned that we have a blackberry, and that can be actually wine. It's a blackberry, it can be wine. If it's a grape, it can be wine. Now, why I'm talking about wine? Well, Croatia is famous about some things, and wine is one of them. But also we have olives, we have this, and we have
Mhm.
old wheat, we have corn, we have some water, we have some beautiful stuff on the land. And agriculture is about that. It doesn't need
Yeah.
to be kind of a software company. It doesn't need to be a shovel in the land company, but
Mhm.
it can be something that even connects that. And that's what I'm trying to explain to people is that if you are mentioned like yourself in New York Times, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You're all over the world right now, and people still can, like you said, knock on the door and ask a question. Well, I like to take myself as an example right now. I knocked on your door and asked you to be a guest on this Startup Rant podcast, and you said yes.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
hope that one little country and one little company from this little country, or
Mhm.
even little country in some other company, or some other company, will knock on your doors and ask for help, and you will help. We're just pointing out, you can knock on that door, because that's what we are here for, to help.
And in life, especially, just pointing you what not to do
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
that's extremely helpful. Or supporting you with intros, especially connections are everything, everything. And supporting new companies with connections, that's the easiest thing you can do. And that's one of the most valuable things that they need. So
yeah.
that's great.
So you shuffled some numbers here. This is an interesting question right now, because from the my formative years till now, I'm like a little bit, I care about ecology and what's happening. And you shuffled some numbers around 9 million people in 250 or whatnot. Do you see that we have a food global problem right now, or because you're in the architecture or something, or do you see that there is a solution that we can actually all provide to, and that is like really care about what we are eating, but most importantly what we are spending? Because sometimes I think that more food is wasted than it
Food
should be.
wasting is a big problem as well in all elements of the value chain. It's not so a lot of it gets wasted in fridge, but in the end, what's being bought, but it's getting wasted on field because you don't harvest everything, or
Yeah,
you
this
have
is
losses
important thing.
there. Yeah, but we really have a big food problem because everything was. We need to change the mindset. We are currently eating to not be hungry, but we are what we eat in the end. And foodborne diseases are so big problem. All the allergies, all the diseases, all the cancers, everything that's happening. Food is a cause of majority, and that's the lifestyle. So that's the way you live, and this needs to be changed. And so that's why it's broken. It's not just in production; it's in everything. And the trend where it's going, it's definitely going to more understanding nutrition we eat. So, and for example, plant-based diet, that's getting traction globally. Awareness is rising. Whether we speak simply about eating a bit less meat, eating more veggies, more green things, or we speak about plant-based burgers or steaks or whatever, lab-grown meat that is again based on plant, but you need plants for that as well. So you currently have completely new industry that is looking to buy wheat with a specific percentage of proteins, of different nutrients inside. And when you take a look, okay, we would like to have that, but you source it from 1,000 growers, and you get completely everything because they don't know how to produce it. They know how to produce volume, but they don't know how to produce nutrition. And then the digitalization is, well, this is where we focus on working with big companies because they do the R&D. What are the practices that bring exactly these nutrients inside crops exactly? So they bring our platform to growers. They basically provide knowledge there. Growers get all the risks to mitigate about weather, about pest diseases, etc. there. And in the end, they track everything they did. So we have complete traceability, how it was grown. So you know what you eat. The food companies get exactly the quality they need. So it's really transforming the way everybody operates, both food companies when they work with growers by themselves. And this is the digital transformation that we see as the solution. Not just selling, okay, this is our product, use it. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's change of mindset of everything. Yeah.
So in a way, I'm gonna say this. I don't think you ever or your company ever said this, but in a way of humanity, you said to yourself, "This is what you said. You are what you eat," and Agrivi could be actually it is a part of a backbone of humanity right now, because all these
Try
companies,
to be that.
yeah, all these kind of companies like yourself, like companies are trying to make a world a better place for all of us, not just a better place because it's not around us, it's actually in us because we eat it. So to trace that, to expand on that, to actually make it better is something really worthwhile. Matija, thank you for this call. I don't know, do you have any kind of final thoughts for all the startups from not just Croatia, from any country? Is like, do they, like, I had one guest who said, like, it's hard. It's hard. So
It's better not to think about how hard it is, because if you start thinking about that, better don't start. Then it's not for you. So it will be hard every day in the end. But if you know what you're doing, if you see the direction, if you see the impact that you, in the end, you create, and if it still sparkles you, then it's worth of it. because you know that you're doing the right thing altogether, for yourself, for your family, for your life, and for others whose problems you solve, whether it is getting better user experience on any kind of app, or whatever you do, you always solve somebody's problem. And yeah, I think that it's about getting inspiration. That's it.
Beautiful message for the end. Thank you for this. I hope we will talk again in the near future to see what's happening on with Agrivi and what's happening with the food in the world. Let's say it like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for this, and wish you all the best in the future endeavors.
Thank you, Miroslav. It was a pleasure.